Hi, my name is Griffin Price, and this is my digital sampling lab slide report. So for a lab background, in this lab, I grew my understanding in finding unique characteristics and traits of audio signals. Instruments used were the data acquisition device, wave viewing software, an audio jack breakout, and a microphone. And as you can see, this image is an example of what the program outputs when given an audio input. Now, this is the table from my prior to week 2 waveform identification assignment. And now for my experiment, I'm an avid fisherman. It is my favorite hobby. And I always thought, I've always heard sounds when fishing around a pond, um, specifically a frog and a cricket. Um, so that was kind of my motivation. Like, why do they make those sounds? And uh, if I can figure out how they make those sounds, I figured that would be a cool little experiment. So the problem trying to be solved is, what noises do I hear? What are some similarities and differences between them? Experimental goals: find out the purpose of why frogs and crickets make different noises respectively. And for my procedure, I just took recorded audio from an online YouTube video of a frog, common cricket, and mole cricket. And I used a microphone attachment to record that audio from that video to get a waveform and frequency graph. Now for the frog on the left here, you can see the frequency waveform, and for the cricket on the right, you can see the frequency waveform. So for the frog, the average frequency during one croak was around 2700 hertz, and for the cricket, it had around 3 average frequencies during its one chirp, thus being 200 hertz, 3300 hertz, and 6600 hertz. And now I want you to take a special look at the actual volt second graph, where you can see the sine waves. So for the frog, you can kind of see each individual croak starts off loud, then gets small, then almost no noise in between. So croak, 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 right? Kind of makes sense. And then for the common cricket, it's kind of like almost a continuous hum with slight quietness in between each, but you can kind of see like the chirp, the continuous chirping hum of the cricket, which I thought this display is very good. Now for the frog, it uses its croaks by actually has vocal cords, kind of like humans. But the thing that humans don't have that a frog does have is a vocal sac, and they use that vocal sac to amplify the vibrations of their croak. Frogs mainly croak to attract a mate, but they also croak for defensive reasons, like, hey, this is my territory, warning other frogs, don't get around me, this is my territory. Um, and when it's raining, when it's a thunderstorm, and you hear a bunch of frogs outside in your backyard, there's a reason for that, and that's because during a rain or a thunderstorm, it's actually prime mating conditions for females to lay eggs. So frogs are trying to get a chance to mate, so they croak the loudest when it rains. And as I said, you can hear the croak, it kind of bursts of croak noise, like croak, 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 almost in bursts. Now for the cricket, it makes its chirp by rubbing a file-like group of bumps on one wing onto its other wing, which has a hardened edge, which makes that chirping sound. But only male crickets chirp. And again, that's mainly for mating purposes. But crickets, they're kind of like frogs. They also chirp in order to defend their territory. And their chirp is a steady background hum. So not bursts of chirps, but kind of one continuous chirp with loud, quiet chirps in between. So obviously the similarities, both the frog and the cricket share a purpose for making noise. That's their purpose of why they make that noise, to mate, but also a secondary purpose of defending their territory. Now the difference is how the noise is made anatomically. So like I said, the frog has vocal cords and a vocal sac to produce its croak, and the crickets use their wings, which I thought was pretty good, and how the noise is audibly heard. So bursts of croaks coming from the frogs and a nice steady background chirp with high amplitude and low amplitudes kind of mixing between it for the cricket. These are my citations. Thank you.